You work hard every day, but at the end of the day, you always find yourself struggling financially. You wake up early in the morning, go to work, but as soon as you get paid, the money just seems to disappear into thin air. It is like there is something that seems to always suck away your finances that never ends. But what if I told you that there's a force working against you, trying to keep you poor and struggling? A force that's been around since the beginning of time and has a particular interest in keeping you poor. That force is the devil. I know it sounds like something out of a horror movie, but I promise you, this is real. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 ways the devil is succeeding in keeping you poor. You see, the devil is a master manipulator, and he knows just how to get into your head and make you believe that you're destined to be poor. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Spending more than you can afford. It's no secret that one of the devil's primary tactics for keeping you poor is by making you spend more than you can afford. We live in a society that tells us that we need the latest of everything, from the latest clothes to the newest shoes and the latest cars. Unfortunately, the devil takes advantage of this, making you believe that you really have to spend on these things. He especially tempts you with things you really don't need, convincing you to buy them, even if it means borrowing. Think about it. How many times have you spent heavily on items you never ended up using? Take a closer look at your closet and look at all the number of new clothes and shoes you've bought over time, but you rarely ever wore them. At the time of purchase, you truly believed you will wear them, but after using them once or twice, you suddenly lost interest. Not to talk of the new phone you bought, and there wasn't anything particularly unique about it, other than a tiny piece of upgrade which didn't make much of a difference. These weren't coincidences. They were traps. The devil wants you to keep spending on things you really don't need and then borrow money for things you really need. He wants you to waste your money and live from paycheck to paycheck. Here is the secret. Whenever you see an item that puts you under pressure to purchase, most likely it is not God behind that feeling. God never put his children under pressure. If you aren't sure, take some time before making a final decision. Number 2. Unexpected problems. Have you ever noticed that as soon as you receive your salary, unexpected problems seem to come out of nowhere? No matter how much you've planned and saved, something always seems to come up as soon as you receive that paycheck. It's almost as though the devil is watching and waiting for the moment you finally get some money, just so he can swoop in and cause chaos. For instance, let's say you already had your monthly budget planned ahead, but as soon as your salary hits your bank account, your mom or a relative falls sick, or let's say your car is always in good condition, but every time you receive your salary, it just suddenly breaks down, and now you have to spend a large amount of money to fix it. Don't take these things lightly. These random problems coming out of nowhere are programmed to drain your finances. They are attacks the devil uses to keep you poor and financially empty. It is time for you to rise up in the name of Jesus and break these wasters in your life. Rebuke these forces in the name of Jesus and set yourself free from their tactics. Number 3. Through financial abusers. Financial abusers are those the devil introduces into your life who come in and drain you financially. He has been doing this for years and has become an expert in it. These are people who take advantage of your financial situation and exploit it for their own benefit. For example, imagine being a housewife who works all day, only to have your husband take your salary and spend it on drinking. Knowing fully well the financial situation of your home, or that younger brother of yours who always seems to get into trouble, and you have to always run to rescue them out of their financial mess. These are all tactics the devil uses to drain your finances away. In some cases, the devil could even drain you out by sending people to borrow money from you. Maybe you were saving up for a business, but a good friend of yours showed up, borrowed, but is refusing to pay back. These are planned attacks by the enemy. If you are in this situation, ask the Lord to deliver you from the wrong friends or those who take advantage of you. Ask Him to remove any situation that seeks to waste your funds, and give you spiritual discernment to know when the wrong people are sent into your life. Number 4. Debt crisis. The devil has done a masterful job of convincing people that debt is good and financial security is an illusion. He takes advantage of our ignorance, making us believe there's nothing wrong with having debts. But any Christian who fears the Lord will tell you that living a life full of debts isn't part of God's plan for your life. Living a life of debt is a form of bondage. The Bible rightly says a borrower is a slave to the lender. It doesn't matter if you think you will pay back. Debt is a spirit seeking to keep you never able to live financially free. He also makes sure you aren't able to pay back, so that the interest rates keep getting higher, making you go deeper and deeper into a future of poverty. Through debts, you won't be able to provide your family with the support they need. Through debts, you won't be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor. You end up losing your properties. Through debts, you can't walk freely in public because you are afraid of being asked to pay back. Debt is a bad spirit, seeking to rob you of God's blessings. You have been called to a life of victory and not a life of debt. Jesus died to make us free from this. Number 5. Wrong financial decisions. Many times we make financial decisions that seem smart at the time, only to find out later that they were misguided and terrible. You start out with good intentions, hoping to make it big and live your dreams. But all too often, these dreams turn into nightmares. The devil will offer up seemingly attractive opportunities that look promising at first glance, but these deals are actually made to fail. If you don't wake up soon, you may find yourself with nothing left of your hard-earned money. Maybe you invested in a business venture that looked promising only for it to fail miserably. This often happens when we don't seek the Lord before making financial decisions. The devil wants you to fail so that he gains from it. The Bible calls him a thief, and that's what he is good at. If you ever see an opportunity to make a financial decision, never fail to seek the Lord's face in prayers. God is a part of you, and so whatever decisions you make must be made with him. Number 6. The Devourer. Now let's talk about the Devourer. You see, God instructs us to bring our tithes and offerings to his house. But many believers neglect this instruction, which in turn gives the devil legal ground to attack their finances. The devil will always try to find a loophole to steal from you, and failing to bring your tithes and offerings is one way he can gain access to your finances. But it's not just about the tithes and offerings. It's also about how we manage our finances. First and foremost, we need to be obedient to God's commands. Secondly, we need to be wise with our finances, supporting God and his work. Churches don't run on oxygen. It takes finances to run a church. But remember, God doesn't take away anything from you without the aim of giving you more in return. By obeying his commandments, we can close the door on the devil's legal rights to our finances. We can declare victory over the devourer and claim God's blessings for our lives. Number 7. The government. It's a scene that plays out in homes across the country. Families struggling to make ends meet, wondering how they're going to pay the bills, put food on the table, and keep a roof over their heads. And while there are many factors that contribute to financial hardship, there's one that often gets overlooked: the government. You see, the government has the power to drain you financially faster than almost anything else. Every time they raise taxes or pass expensive bills, they're essentially taking money out of your pocket. And who do you think benefits from this? The devil. The devil knows that if he can inflict the economy, people will do anything to survive. They'll take out loans they can't afford. They'll work multiple jobs just to make ends meet, and they'll sacrifice their health and well-being just to pay the bills. All the while, he's laughing as he watches you plunge into poverty. Over the past few years, we've seen energy prices skyrocket, inflation spirals out of control, and house affordability becomes nothing more than a dream for many people. And while these may seem like just economic issues, they're actually part of a larger plan. The devil wants to keep you poor, and he's using the government to do it. So there you have it. Thank you for watching. If you love our videos, please feel free to subscribe to our channel.